it is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan, their own fans question them and their star player, saying he was too distracted dating a global pop icon. They wondered if maybe their window had closed after going down on the road 14-0 to Aiden O'Connell. But Dan, after closing the game on a dominant 31-3 run, make no mistake about it, Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs are back. They're back.
I mean, they didn't really go anywhere.
Well, they did for me. Ryan Day can't win the big one. You know what the D in Ryan Day stands for, Dan?
I do not.
Do it against Michigan. The game will never be the game again. It's over. Hey, the game. It was nice knowing you. I'm sad about the game. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the weekend. 12-team playoff ruins everything.
I don't know. They can match up as the 11 and 12 team
it doesn't
in
matter.
future incarnations of the game, and it will be just as important.
No, it won't.
It's a shot at the playoffs on the line, and I still think Ohio State has a shot at the playoffs.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. There's a whole chaos theory.
They're not getting in.
There's a chaos theory.
Mike, how do they get in?
They're one loss. They have the best loss out of the one losses.
Right. But
that's how we do this. Who has the best loss?
But they lost to Michigan.
Yeah, who I think
Barely
we all
lost
have
to
chalked
them.
as
Barely.
advancing.
They barely lost.
I know they barely lost, but Michigan is in. They're going to beat Iowa, so they're in, right? Alabama, Georgia's getting in. One of those two teams is going to get in, maybe both. If Alabama wins a close game.
Why would you put
then you got
them?
Washington and Oregon. You still got Texas.
I mean, it's weekend observations. We don't need to
You're
turn
going
it
to put
into
Alabama
a CFP
with
debate.
two losses in.
Well,
before?
Alabama
No,
has one loss,
no.
but they'd have two losses if they
no,
lost.
but let's say Alabama beats
Beats Georgia,
Georgia in the
close
SEC
game.
title game,
Maybe they
and
both get
Texas
in. Right.
wins the Big 12 game. Then you have a real mess on your hands because you can't put Alabama in over Texas if their one loss comes to one loss Texas. Best loss is Ohio State.
Yep.
And now FSU has ruined it for everybody because
yes.
they had a gutsy win on the road.
Yep. Get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. And you know what he'll do? The rest. Maserati Marv. Too bad Maserati Marv's quarterback is Honda McCord.
He had moxie.
He played well.
He played hurt.
That's the best game I've seen Ohio State play this year. It was a loss, but it's the best game I've seen them play.
It's the second game you've seen them play this year.
That's a good point.
Because you've only watched Alabama maybe 7 times over the last 20-year run.
Bragging about watching 3 full
Oh, a
football
full
games.
game. It's a delight.
Week 11, week 12.
Dan Campbell's fake punt call was atrocious. Do me a favor. You're Dan Campbell. If you're going to go for it, shove it down someone's throat. Thanks. You agree?
That's right.
Thank you.
Are you just saying you don't ever watch Thursday or Monday games because there's no other games on those days?
What do you mean?
You're bragging about yesterday watching
No,
just
the
one
1
game.
o'clock slate was so bad. I'm normally on the Red Zone or the Jets, but the Jets didn't play.
You do it every Thursday and Monday is our point.
Well,
He
I do it
does
with
it,
every Jet game is what I do. But yesterday it was nice just to sit back and watch Texans and Jaguars the entire game, not worrying about what was going on in Patriots-Giants.
You don't get that
because
panic
nothing was going on.
when you kind of like lose, like daydream, maybe you get lost in your phone for a minute and you come back and there's a commercial on and you're like, what am I doing?
No.
I punch myself. I'm like, you stupid. There's football on right now and you're just sitting here watching a commercial.
Stugotz, you miss Bailey Zappi averaging 1.4 air yards per attempt.
I don't care. I was watching C.J. Stroud.
Bill Belichick would have preferred to be watching C.J. Stroud.
Therese Halliburton, 12-2 assist to turnover ratio. Dan, the T in Therese stands for taking care of the rock. Congratulations to Jordan Love for saving his job. If you squint, you can see something is there with Sam Howell. Dan, you know what the S in Sam Howell stands for?
Squint.
Squint, you can see something there.
All squint team.
How about that?
Wait a minute. Who else is on that team? Will
Levis,
Levis.
for sure.
If you
Sam
squint,
Howell.
you
You
can
gotta
see
squint.
Dan Marino.
I'll be
you
on,
said.
yep, I'll be on it.
Is
Hold
there a quarterback Tony hasn't loved at some
No,
point?
it's crazy. He thinks everybody is Minshew.
Just come around on DeVito.
on. The passing paisano.
No one loves the 20 to 25 ranking spot of quarterback more than Tony.
But he bailed on the Jaguars.
Did not bail on the Jaguars.
You bail.
Did not bail. Just
Said it
said
was over.
from the
Worst
beginning
time.
that
Trevor's so
CJ
good.
Stroud was an electric quarterback. I had that one first.
When did Buzz Williams leave Marquette? Huh? When did that happen?
How many teams ago was
I
that?
know.
How many years ago was
When
that?
you think you've killed Alabama, think again. 4th and 21. 4th and 31, excuse me. Jalen Milroe, ice in his veins. Many people are saying this is the best coaching job of Nick Saban's career. You agree?
I can be talked into that too.
Thank you.
It's not a great team.
It's
The
not.
overpowering talent advantage that Clemson and Alabama had entering the NIL era has dissipated quickly. That is not – that's one of the worst Alabama teams, and there's no disrespect to the Alabama team, which is a very good team, one-loss team. But when you compare them to the all-time teams that they've had, this is probably among the worst that he's had outside of year one.
Dan, you know what the oops in Mark Stoops stands for?
Oops.
Oops, we didn't mean to hire him at Texas A&M. The Aggies.
Not sexy enough for the Aggie supporters, so they get Mike Elko.
Mike Elko. Congrats on the $40 million buyout 3 years from now. Texas. Message sent. Arch Manning can spin it. Did you see him?
Texas's receivers are
They're good.
so physically big.
In 12 quarters against Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State, Michigan State scored 3 points. If the Commanders didn't fire Jack Del Rio, I still wouldn't know they hired Jack Del Rio. They also lost the best-looking man in the room. Jack Del Rio was a Commander?
You must have missed that whole controversy.
How did you miss that
I
whole
don't know.
controversy?
Life's moving fast.
It allowed me to point out that Jack Del Rio was once on a picket line and he fought a guy he thought was a scab. It was a Hall of Fame Chiefs receiver who was now in their scouting department. He fought him on the picket line. He was just trying to get into the stadium to go to work.
Dan, you know what the D in Dolphins and the D in Dallas stands for?
I do not.
They stand for do it against a good team. Also, a couple of D's cutting it up.
I thought Denver is now a good team. I
Well,
thought
the time the Dolphins beat them and dropped 70 on them, they weren't.
You wrote that before Denver won?
I did.
Noche Buena can't come quick enough for these teams. They're so excited to actually beat a good team. Miami versus Dallas, Noche Buena.
If you want complete coverage of how the Broncos are now a good team, I suggest God Bless Football today.
Yeah, Billy's on them. Available on Max.
It is not.
Weird. The Chris Paul Scott Foster rivalry deserves a documentary. It does.
The Haberstroh stats on that were crazy. Chris Paul is always favored in games, and he's 3-17 in Foster games and loses by an average of 11 points.
This Ranger team can skate.
I mean, all the teams in hockey can.
No, not like this Ranger team. This Ranger team can skate. They're fast.
It's kind of like in golf when they say he's a good ball striker.
Yeah.
Like I always, whenever they say that about a hockey team, it's a good skating team. It's like I'd hope so. They
It's your job.
They're professional hockey
To
players.
skate, yeah.
I want to know the bat. Like, who's the worst skating team in the league? They're just like falling all over each other.
It's a great question. I don't have an answer
They
for
look
you.
like Oklahoma coming out of the tunnel.
Like, I feel like all pro golfers are good ball strikers, but they say some are better than others.
The Jets are starting to make my blood boil. Timmy Boyle sounds like he should be on what just happened there? An Irish mob boss. I'll tell you what happened. Thanksgiving happened. Monday happened. God bless football happened. Check it out on Max.
Well, how did you spell Boyle and the Jets are starting to make your blood boil?
B-O-I-L.
Oh, come on.
It's not on Max.
It's not on me.
It's on DraftKings Network. though. Did you see? You have like a lower third graphic now for God Bless Football.
Really?
Yeah, your
exciting.
face, Billy's face.
That's awesome. Dan, you know what the B in Timmy Boyle stands for?
I do not.
Really? Stands for bad quarterback. All of a sudden, Zach Wilson doesn't sound so bad. Dan, you don't just stroll into Madison Square Garden and beat the Knicks come in-season tournament time. The Mecca. It's a bad loss for the Heat. Kirk Herbstreit needs to slow down. Worried about him. Herbie. He's everywhere, Mike. He's everywhere.
He's still damn good.
I don't care about his dog either.
Whoa.
It's a great-looking dog. I don't need to see it. I don't need to see him buckling it into a private jet seat. I don't need to see it. Enough of the dog.
The video
And get some rest.
of Fowler and Herbstreit watching on a monitor the end of Auburn, Alabama, and behaving like 10-year-old brothers would behave just with their enthusiasm was pretty cool.
The Jets' defense is their offense, and their offense is their defense. I hate them. Mark Sanchez adding Tim Boyle to his holiday gift list. Collision course. Sanchez. Tom Brady complaining about the rules in today's NFL after a rule was created to specifically protect him. Tom, the Stugotz is strong in you. Zion, starting to put it all together. Jake Elliott, clutch. Georgia, do it against Alabama. Death, taxes, and Kristaps Porzingis being reevaluated in a week. The Steelers did what the Steelers do. He's always hurt, that guy. Atlanta Falcons, 5-6, first place, and squarely in the mix. I love it. CJ Stroud, holy shit. Dan, you know what the F in Frank Reich stands for?
Fired.
Flames under his seat.
This was written before.
I know. I didn't change it.
Fired
You
was
could have
right
pivoted there.
Really?
It's right there.
It's not exactly
How was
thinking
my-
quick on your feet.
How was my F better than your
He
F?
said fired. You could have just
Flames.
been, yep.
I like Flames. I mean, I wrote it. I wanted to say it.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Can you be on the hot seat after you've been fired?
He'll get rehired and be on the hot seat again. I promise you.
That's
He's
not
done.
what
Frank's
you were
done.
saying.
I know.
That's the second shortest tenure in the history of NFL coaching.
If the season ended today, the Falcons and Colts would be in the playoffs, and the Bills and Bengals would not. The hell's going
Bills?
on? I don't know what's happening to me. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
Did you forget your Art Briles joke?
I said, speaking of hell, Art Briles, Dan, those are the weekend observations. I said it. You missed it.
I didn't hear it.